Hello. I'm going to be talking about getting lost in a hospital and philosophical ideas about the monarchy. There is a point to this. But first, I want to ask you, please, if you like this video, click the like, and if you're a subscriber, check that your subscription is live, and if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, and also if you like this video enough to share it, please share it. Right, I think that's the business end out of the way. Now, I was in the hospital this morning, nothing desperate, just a routine blood test, and I was leaving the hospital, going along the corridor towards the entrance hall, or in my case, the exit hall, when a man coming in the opposite direction stopped quite close to me and started turning round and looking in a vague sort of way as if he was lost. So I said, is there anything I can do to help? And he said, no, I was miles away and I just walked straight past the entrance. And then we walked back to the entrance together. And I thought, well, that's easily done. All the corridors look the same. And then it occurred to me, this was a modern, spanking new hospital with all sorts of mod cons and colourful paintwork and clean lines, and all the doors look the same. It then occurred to me that if we were in the sort of Victorian hospitals that were still around in my youth, the entrance hall would probably have had a great big Gothic arch over the front, and there's no way that you could walk past that without noticing. So remember that while I just mentioned the cosmic skeptic, who's called Alex O'Connor, and I used to be a big fan of his. He was very lucid, very logical, he voiced some of my own concerns about a belief in God, and I used to be quite a fan. But I lost patience with him a while ago when the arguments that he was using seemed to me in many cases to be as dishonest as the arguments I've heard for the existence of God, and I just got fed up of that. However, there was a video of his that popped up quite recently in my recommended list, and it's a video of the cosmic skeptics, and it's called Why the Monarchy Should Have Died with the Queen. I watched a little bit of it, but not all of it. Certainly it was eminently rational, but sometimes rational isn't what people need, as is said in Deuteronomy. I am, what's that, circular logic, I think it's called that anyway. And it's repeated it's said in Deuteronomy, it's repeated in Matthew, man does not live by bread alone. And that doesn't have to come from God to make sense to most of us. Sometimes we really do need what you might call decorative redundancy. Well, it's a subject very much on my mind of late. As a matter of fact, interestingly enough, I made a video about Meghan Markle just before we got the news that the Queen was ill. So I didn't think it was appropriate to post that video then. I might post it tomorrow if I think it's still relevant. But let's get back to what Cosmic Skeptic said, and his view that the monarchy is a redundancy. Well, yes, it is. But some things might look extravagant and purely decorative, like that hypothetical Gothic arch in the Victorian hospital I was telling you about. But that would have been instead of the long, soulless, clean corridors of the modern hospital, where you don't know if you're heading for the entrance hall or the cardiac clinic. In places like that, we need labels to orient ourselves. So there's another dimension to this, isn't there? All of us, well, many of us, are worried about big corporations trying to impose on the world their view of how we should live and what directions we should go in. Think about the parallel to the soulless, modern, uniform world, all clean and clear-cut, that they're trying to create, where actually you'll end up needing labels to know where you are and who puts the labels there. If one room, like the multi-faith prayer room, looks like any other room, then you just need somebody to tell you that's a multi-faith prayer room. If you had one in a Victorian hospital, it would look like a church. You'd know what it was, however many different religions were supposed to be praying in there. So when you're in a modern, clean world where everything makes rational sense, you'll need something like the EU or the World Economic Forum to label the directions that they want us to go in. And then we get used to the idea of looking for those directions handed down from authority instead of using organic shapes and traditions to work out for ourselves. And by organic shapes and traditions, I know that a church-like room in a hospital is not organic, but it does reflect a traditional view of a prayer room that we have. So instinctively, without words, we know that's what it's intended for. And that's probably why I'm in favour of the sort of constitutional monarchy we have here in the British Isles. It distracts the argument from that of authoritative government. There's always something else to balance it. Whatever. If we're going to the nitty-gritty, I think we could take a lesson from that hospital corridor and the Gothic and the missing Gothic arch in the modern building. Okay, well, yep, that's it. I'm Granniopteryx. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. I'm also at Granniopteryx on Twitter, Gab and Parler. And if you subscribe to one of those, you'll always get announcements of my latest uploads, whatever the other other platforms do or do not inform you of. Please like, share and subscribe, as I said before. And you can help my channel financially as well by buying me a coffee or donating in one of the other links given in the description below. Okay, till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Granniopteryx design or Grambo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.granniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.